It's time for some real education. Today on Instant Classic, we consider the intersection of art and science, taking some time to ponder the famous Muscle Man illustrations in the world's first great manual on human dissection.
And you heard Katie right. We're going to look at the intersection of art and science as we consider the first great anatomical treatise in the history of really the world. Show the picture there is, the man on the left there is Andreas Vesalius of Brussels. And in 1543, he produced the world's first great anatomic text. It was a huge, thick book that talked about what he saw when he actually dissected human bodies himself. Up until now, all through the Middle Ages and all through the ancient world of Greece and Rome, generally speaking, human bodies were not allowed to be dissected. They were religious taboos. The classical world had religious taboos. The Christian world had them for a while. That bodies were to be prayed over and buried, or burned. They were not to be cut into. Well, in the late Middle Ages, that began to change a little bit as some doctors began to actually dissect some bodies. How do you know what's in a human body unless you can look inside it? And one of the big flaws, and that's true of world medicine, almost nowhere in the world, that includes China, that includes Native America, that includes Africa, nobody was dissecting human bodies. Medicine was based on observational things, but nobody knew what a heart did. It's one of the reasons why we didn't discover that the heart pumped blood until about 1618, the discovery of the circulation by Harvey. And you couldn't have gotten there without this in 1543. So go back to the first picture, Mike. There's Vesalius. And what was so unique about him is that he actually, as a doctor, did the dissecting himself. So that what he saw is what he wrote in his book. And so there was a correlation between, very scientific, right? A very scientific leap forward. You were seeing with your own eyes. The doctor was inside the body. And so there was the possibility of research and teaching. And one of the things he did was produce a book. And show some of the pictures now, Mike. Some of these illustrations in the book are absolutely gorgeous. They are works of art in themselves. There are hundreds of them. And there's an entire series of men who's had their skin flayed off. Why? To show you what the musculature of the human body looked like under the skin. How did the muscles work together? How were the muscles joined? How were long muscles different from compact muscles? And these were done by dissections. Go back to the one right before this. And you can see there on the left, right? They take they're not just still figures. They're posing in various ways. They're not just demonstrating musculature like we would expect in a modern anatomical treatise. They were demonstrating movement. These are incredibly high artistic quality drawings. Now, we know that Vesalius didn't do the drawings himself. Would you be surprised to learn that no less a figure than Titian, the great Renaissance painter, his school was responsible for producing all those images? We don't know that the master Titian himself actually did those drawings, but we do know that from his school, from his workshop, these wonderful images in all of their detail, I mean, they're so detailed in their drawing. They're actually a much bigger help in instances than even the text is because they are so accurately drawn. And that's the intersection of art and science and how the two disciplines used to work together without being opposed to each other.